Hello everyone, in this video we will be discussing about variables in JavaScript and the rules for writing the names of variables, scope in JavaScript and all the differences between var, let and const in JavaScript. I'm very sure your concept will be all cleared regarding variables in JavaScript after watching this whole video. Variables are like containers which stores data, that is values. If I make a box here and named it as x, and in x I'm storing a value like 4, then I will write here var x is equal to 4 and ending the line with semicolon means that I'm assigning a value 4 in x box. So again, if I write var y is equal to 5, it means that a y container storing a value 5. Yeah, sure. All JS variables must be identified with a unique names, and these unique names are called identifiers. So, there are some rules for constructing the names for the variables. So first rule says that identifiers can only contain letters, underscore, dollar sign or numbers. Let's see the examples based on rule first. Identifier can be letters. So A can be an identifier, ABC also can be an identifier, and Sachi can also be an identifier. Now identifier can contain underscores. So AB underscore CD can be an identifier. Name underscore Sachi can also be an identifier. Identifier can contain dollar sign. So name dollar Sachi can be an identifier, and hello dollar can also be an identifier. And the last one, identifiers can contain numbers. So hello 123 can be an identifier. AB12 CD can also be an identifier. Now second rule says that identifiers must begin with letters, underscore or dollar sign. So let's have example over here. Identifier must begin with letters. So I can write here Sachi. Identifier can also begin with underscore. So I can write here underscore Sachi. Identifiers can also begin with dollar sign. So I can write here dollar Sachi. But identifiers cannot start with numbers. So 1 Sachi, 2 Sachi or any number Sachi is wrong. But the dollar Sachi, underscore Sachi or Sachi are rights. Now moving to the third rule and last rule also, that is reserved word, which is JavaScript keyword, can't be used as identifiers. Like till now we have used console.log, so console or log can't be used as identifiers. A note is here, identifiers are case sensitive, means that if I write small a and here capital A, then both have different meaning. If I write small abc and capital ABC, then these also have different meaning. And if I write here var Sachi is equal to 4, then it makes a container named as Sachi and stores 4. And if I write var capital SHACHI equal to 4, then this create another container of name as capital SHACHI, and this also contains 4, means both containers are different but storing the same value, that is 4. Yeah, definitely. बिल्कुल सही. Now let's talk about scope in JavaScript. What does the scope mean? Actually, it determines the accessibility of variables. That is, scope tells us where to use the variables in our whole code. Let's see the meaning of scope from our day-to-day life. Consider a house in a locality having a tab, and consider a local tab in the locality. Now the house tab can only be accessed by a person who lives in that house. But the local tap can be accessed by all the person who lives in that locality. So like tap water, variables have also some scope in the JavaScript code. And from that only scope variables can be accessed. Before ES6, ES6 is the ECMAScript 6. ECMAScript is the official name of JavaScript. ECMAScript 2009, also known as ES5, and that was the first major improvement to JavaScript. Then ECMAScript 15 launched, and this is also known as ECMAScript 6, and that was the second major improvement to JavaScript. And now ES6 is followed by the whole world. So, before ES6, JavaScript had only global and functional scope. But now there are three types of scope in JavaScript after ES6, that is block scope, function scope, global scope. Now let's see the pictorial representation of all the three scopes. The biggest scope is the global scope. Under the global scope, function scope comes. Function scope can access all the things under global scope. And under function scope, block scope comes. And the block scope can access all the things under functional scope and global scope. Global scope is equal to console, means what we write in console, it all come under global scope. Now I will show you all the functioning of the scope in the console. If you don't know how to go into the console, then you can follow my steps. First, go to your Chrome, double click on any free space, you will get inspect there. After clicking inspect, you will get elements. Beside elements, you will get console. Click on the console, and if you get anything written on the page, then click this button and you will get the blank space. The whole console is the global scope. So whatever you write in the console comes under global scope. Under global scope, if you write function and giving any name of the function and writing anything under function, then all you write comes under function scope. This is the format of writing functions. So if you don't know how to write function, don't worry. I will show you all the things in the upcoming videos. Now the block scope comes under function scope. So I am writing here function, giving any name like f. Now under this function, I will create here a curly braces, and under the curly braces what you write comes under block scope. Block scope can access anything under function scope as well as global scope. But what you write in block scope can't be accessed by the function scope as well as the global scope. Like I have given the example of the tab, that home tab can be accessed by the home people only, but the local tab can be accessed by the locality as well as the home people. So block scope is the home tab and the functional scope is the local tab. Okay, now let's talk about the differences between var, let and const. Like var, let and const are also like a container which stores data or values. But the var was used in the previous version of ECMAScript, that is ECMAScript 5. But nowadays let and const are in use after launch of ECMAScript 6, because there was some drawbacks using var. And here we will discuss the differences between all the three and the drawbacks of var. The first difference is the scope. Var is a function scope, let is a block scope, const is a block scope. So by the example I am showing you what it means. I will write here some functions, so don't take worry, I will show all the things in the upcoming videos. Now only see the examples what I am showing you. Now first example is for the var. So I am writing here a function and giving a name f. And under this function I'm creating a block scoped by the curly braces, and under this I am writing here var a is equal to 2, and outside of this block I'm writing console.log a and I'm here closing the function and now calling the function. This is the syntax for the calling of the function, and here I get 2. This shows that var is a functional scope, as console.log is outside the block scope and it can access the variable inside the block scope, means that it doesn't follow the block scope concept, and this is the drawback of var. Now let's see how let works. As let is a block scoped, so I'm writing here a function named f again, and using the curly braces I created a block scope, and here I'm writing let a is equal to 2, closing the block, and here if I write console.log a and closing the function, and now calling the function, I got an error. It's saying that a is not defined, means that let is block scope and the variable under block scope can't be accessed by the functional scope, and here console.log is outside the block, so it unable to find the variable a. But here in this code, if I write all the things in function block and not using the block scope, and if I call f, then I get the result. Now talking about the const, which is also a block scoped, and here I am writing function named f and creating the block scope, and here in the block scope I am writing const a is equal to 2, closing the block, and writing here console.log a and closing the function, and then calling the function. Here I got the error again, a is not defined. As const is also a block scoped, so same rule followed by the const also. Now the second point is redeclaration. In var, redeclaration is allowed, but in let and const it is not allowed. Let's see the example in the code. Like I am writing here var a is equal to 4, and in the second line I am writing var a is equal to 5, then it gives no error because var can be redeclared. Now for let, I am writing here let b is equal to 4, and in next line I am writing let b is equal to 5 and pressing enter, then it gives an error saying identifier b has already been declared, means it doesn't allow redeclaration. Now for const, writing here const c is equal to 4, and in the next line writing const c is equal to 5 and pressing enter, then it again gives an error saying identifier c has already been declared, means const also doesn't allow redeclaration. Now third and last point is reassignment. Var allow reassignment, let also allow reassignment, but const doesn't allow reassignment. So let's see the examples from the code. For var, I'm writing here var a is equal to 2, and in the next line reassigning a by writing a is equal to 9 and pressing enter, then it gives 9 and showing no error, means that var allow the reassignment. Now in case of let, I am writing here let b is equal to 2, and in the next line writing b is equal to 9 and pressing enter, it again gives 9 with no error. Now for const, I am writing here const c is equal to 2, and in the next line c is equal to 9 and pressing the enter, it gives an error saying assignment to constant variable, means const doesn't allow reassignment.
Don't you think we're done? Don't you think we're done? Make me feel alive. Take my hand and run, let me be the one. Let's just take the dive. Night's only begun. Don't you think we're done?